All right, let's take a look at some of these challenge questions. So if we look at K first, that's fine. We can look at K. F of G of 3. What is my input? Well, my input is G of 3. Well, first I need to find out what G of 3 is. Kind of like the order of operations. Well, this really is substitution, so we follow the order of operations. What is G of 3 first? So let's look up, what is G of 3? G of 3 would be equal to, and my function here is the input minus 4. So 3 minus 4, that gives me negative 1, right? So now let's go back. G of 3, since that's equal to negative 1, we've established that. What is f of negative 1? Okay, well, the function says the input squared plus 1. So if I input negative 1, I square that. 1 squared is 1, plus 1 is 2. All right, let's take a look at L. So L, negative, or we could say the opposite of h of negative 3. Okay, so let's see, what's the opposite of h of negative 3? First of all, let's find out what h of negative 3 is. So h of x is negative 3 times the input plus 1, since my input is negative 3. Okay. So negative h of, the opposite of. So since h of 3 is, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a bracket around this whole thing because it's the opposite of that, right? I could have just said, what is h of 3, and then answered, well, what's the opposite of that? So it's negative, and what's inside here? It's going to be 9. So negative 3 times negative 3 plus 1 is 10. Okay, so it's equal to negative 10. Let's see, J, K, L, M. Let's take a look at M. M, we'll do that here. The absolute value of G of negative 2. Okay, oopsie. Let me just erase what I did. Negative 2. Okay, so let's, yeah, okay, there we go. Well, what's G of negative 2? Well, where's G of x? The input minus 4, okay, is equal to the input. I'm just going to put an absolute value around this, minus 4. Okay, my input is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. What's the absolute value of negative 6? That should be 6, right? Okay, so that's M. Let's take a look at N. N says f of negative 2 squared. Let's just find out what f of negative 2 is first, okay? F of negative 2, and then we can square that value. The function is the input squared plus 1. Okay, what's my input? Negative 2, right? So we square negative 2. We have 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, so if that's f of negative 2, f of negative 2 squared, okay, will equal to 5 squared, which is, I'm going to put a bracket around that, 25. Okay, so that's N. All right, moving on to O. Okay, hopefully I have some space here. All right, so O is here. J of 2. Okay, so let's find out what J of 2 is first. That's the inside. J of 2 is equal to, this is 12 divided by the input. 12 divided by, or over the input. And our input is 2, so we can see that's 6. So J of 2, it's just going to be, okay, so J of 2 is, we know J of 2, it's 6. So I can skip to say J of 6 is equal to, okay, what is J of 6? Well, it's 12 divided by the input, which is 6, so we get 2. Round out of space there. Okay, so we get 2, element OP. Here we are. j of g of negative 4. Let's see what g of negative 4 is. G of negative 4 is equal to the input minus 4. So negative 4 minus 4, that is negative 8. So what is j of, okay, so we'll say, what is j of negative 8? Okay, this was negative. Shoot, I don't know what I was doing there. Let me get my eraser. Okay, so we said that was negative 8. Okay. I got all mixed up here. Negative 8. So, P, here we go. Okay. Okay, so j of negative 8, because g is j of g of negative 4. G of negative 4 is 8, so that's j of negative 8. Right, we already did that work on that. And j of x, let's see, again, that's that same one we've been using, right? So we have 12 divided by the input, which is negative 8. I can simplify that. We have the common factors with 12 and 8. Common factor of 4, so negative 3, 3 halves, negative 3 over 2. Let's move on to Q. So Q, here we are. F of h of x. Well, f of h of x, let's find out what h of x, we know h of x is, as it says given here, negative 3 times the input plus 1. Well, our input's just x. So we want to find out what f of h of x is, right? I didn't need to even write that first step. F of x says that we square, this is a 9th grade topic, by the way, so we square the input plus 1. This is our input, negative 3x plus 1. And if I square that, I'm just basically writing it out twice. There is a pattern we can follow. Again, that's a 9th grade topic, so I'm not going to get into that too much. But what we have here is the distributive properties happening twice. Okay, just to recall, if I have like 2 times any binomial, say a plus b, distributive property says I have to multiply 2 by both parts here. So I have to multiply 2 by all of this bracket, which does make sense, right? So we would get 2 times a plus 2 times b. Okay? So that's what we're doing here, but if you notice, we have to do it twice because we've got 2 numbers here to our binomial times another binomial. So I'm going to use the multiplication here first. So here, so negative 3x times 3x. What happened to my pen? And so that would be what? 9, positive, right? 9x squared. Ooh, what happened to my pen? Why is that pen to get change size? Alright, I can't figure out why it did that, but it's still doing it, so I'm just going to finish the video. So 9x squared, right, if I multiply those two, then 3x times 1, negative 3x, so that's minus 3x, and then 1 times negative 3 is minus 3x, and then 1 times 1 is plus 1. This is really not going to show up on an assessment for this class. So we have 9x squared minus 6x plus 1, and then we forgot about this plus 1 here, so it's plus 2. Okay. For the next one, all we do is, we know what f of x is. Well, it is x squared plus 1, right? Okay, and then I'm going to minus g of x. What's g of x? X minus 4, right? Plus h of x. H of x is 3x plus 1. Or, sorry, negative 3x plus 1, okay? So I combine all the like terms. I only have one x squared there. So I have x squared, okay? And then I have 1 minus a negative 4, so that's 5 now, right? Plus 1, so that's plus 6. And then for the x's, I've got minus x. And then I have minus 3x, so I have minus 4x, I believe, yeah. And that about does it for the challenges. So that was a quick video, but hopefully it helps a little.